Hello all, welcome to Universal Group of Institutions, Bengaluru. Welcome to our very special and unique series on reinterpretation of NCRTs, where we have looked at the ninth NCRT and we have come to the end of the 10th NCRT as well. Now, in this particular video session on part 2 of consumer rights, we are going to discuss two important themes. One, the rights that were given in the textbook itself, then the reinterpretation part of these NCRTs. As a part of the reinterpretation of these NCRTs, we are going to discuss about COPRA 2019, that is the Consumer Protection Rights Act of the 2019. Then we are going to comparatively analyze the features of the 1986 with the 2019 as well. Welcome you once again for the today's session. As a part of the first rights, our previous we have discussed about how the consumer movement has progressed. What are the milestones that were achieved by the consumer movements, be it on the international stage, be it on the national. Then we looked at the International Consumers Day, National Consumers Day. Why are they celebrated on a specific day as well? Now the first thing, that is the consumer rights. Now the first consumer right the book is talking about is the safety is everyone's right. This particular right they have explained using example, because all the consumer rights have been explained using an example. As you can see here very clearly, Reggie Matthew, who was healthy boy studying in a class 9, he was suffering with the tonsils. The doctor decides to operate on him to remove those tonsils, using the tonsils. Now, due to the failure, improper anesthesia, Reggie suffered the symptoms of some brain abnormalities. As a result of that, he was crippled for life. His father files a case. The district consumer, court rules in the favor of the hospital itself. Finally, the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, which was located in the New Delhi, it holds the hospital accountable for the medical negligence. As a result of that, the hospital was fined with the 5 lakh rupee. So the first consumer right that this particular textbook is talking about is the safety is a right of every consumer. And the next thing is the right to be informed. That means every consumer has a right to be informed. Look at, even for example, they have explained using a simple story, where Amrita engineering graduate applied for the government exam, but due to the consistent delays, the Amrita's result was not declared. What she does, she applies for the RTI. She writes the letters to the officers, the government officials, where they do not respond. But then through the RTI, she knows when exactly the next step is going to happen. That means every consumer has a right, called as a right to be informed. For example, if you look at the currently, we see the more and more individuals are buying through the e-commerce website. Can you see a one simple example about where how the consumers are being informed? Now look at this. We have here something called as the product description, where you can see the clear cut what the material is made up of. Then you can very clearly see the product details as well, what is the kind of the product. In a product declaration, you can clearly see when was the product was manufactured, what was the country of origin, all such information. This is what we call it as the right to be informed. Look at even one more example of the e-commerce website. You can see here about a washing machine, how they have clearly mentioned about the item, what is the warranty period, what is the drum size, etc. All such kind of information is being given to the consumer. So this is a second right that we have here, called as the right to be informed. Then every consumer has a right, called as the right to choice. No consumer can be forced to buy a product. Again, this particular is used using a story of Abhirami, who enrolls for 2 years of the occasion, the course. That particular institution collects the 2 years fee at a single step. But the Abhirami was unhappy with the way the coaching institution is delivering its course. So she asked for a refund, but the coaching institution refuses to refund her. She again files a case in the consumer court, and which she wins. So what is the verdict that clearly comes out? That means no institution can force. If somebody has enrolled for a BE or a BTech, they cannot force him to pay the 4 years of a fee at a single instance. Or somebody who is pursuing a Bachelor of Arts, they cannot force him to pay the 3 years of a course as well. So that's the reason that every consumer has a right, called as the right to choose. Look at the next right. What if the consumer consumer is cheated? What if the consumer is not happy and consumer wants to seek a justice? That is what we have something called as the right to seek a redressal. That is again explained using a simple story of a Prakash, where Prakash does a money order to his daughter through the post office. His daughter says the money, she has not received the money order. Post office officials were not ready to help him. I mean, that is when he files a case. That means every consumer has a right to seek redressal whenever he or she is met with the injustice. Similarly, in the law, I mean, the court of law, every consumer has a right to represent himself. I mean, that means you on yourself can fight that particular case as well. So these are some of the cases that were given in this particular textbook. That is right to safety, right to be informed, right to choose, right to seek redressal, then the right to represent. These are some of the rights that are given in this particular book. At the same time, I mean, since the consumer, to ascertain the quality of the product, we see the different kind of the trademarks that are being used. One, can you see here something called as the ISI and the UG mark, that is the agricultural mark. Then you can also see the plus F, that is the fortified, which is certified by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, a statutory body, I mean, that regulates the food products. Okay, so these are some of the things. Now let us move to the second theme of this particular discussion, that is the reinterpretation part. So what are we reinterpreting? As a part of this, we need to look at the very important Consumer Protection Act of 2019, which has replaced the COPRA 1986. Now, what is the some of the important features of this one? Can you see here? First thing they are doing is defining a consumer. Who is a consumer? A consumer is defined as anyone purchasing goods or availing services for personal use, excluding those for a resale or the commercial purposes. It includes both offline as well as the online platform. Not only that, offline and online, teleshopping, multi-level marketing, as well as the direct selling also it includes. So this particular act establishes something called as the CCPA, that is the Central Consumer Protection Authority, which was established to enforce the consumer rights and address the unfair trade practices and misleading advertisements. So what are the functions of the CCPA? Investigate the violations of the consumer rights. Number one, order the recall of the hazardous goods, reimbursement or the discontinuation of the unfair practices. Look at the case that is happening right now. I mean, due to the cup syrup, consumption of the cup syrup, we see the children are dying. So such kind of hazardous products will be recalled. Regulate the misleading advertisements and impose the penalties, and issue the safety notices to the consumer. Think about the all the misleading advertisements about the beauty products. That's the reason in this very short form, I mean, in a very small fonts, they write something called as the terms and conditions as well. So what is the appeal mechanism? I mean, that is the Consumer Dispute Redressal Commissions were established. That is the first thing. People apply, I mean, they file in the district to state, state to the national. So the final appeals lies with the Supreme Court. Remember, the appeals from the National Commission do not lie with the High Court. Rather, they lie with the Supreme Court of India. So what if the product, I mean, who will be held liable if the product turns out to be defect? So this particular act introduces something called as the concept of a product liability. Very, very important. So the act introduces the concept of a product liability, holding the manufacturers or the service providers or the sellers accountable for the harm caused by the defective products or the deficient services, and consumers needs to substantiate claims based on the specified conditions in the act as well. So it has also introduced some of the innovative rights which we have discussed already. Right to file a complaints from anywhere. Okay, earlier wherever the producer was located, case used to be filed there. Right to compensation under the product liability, right to protection as a class of consumer. I mean, hearing through the video conferencing is also allowed. Right to know the reasons for the complaint rejection. This is very, very important. So what is the significance of this particular one? Broader coverage. I mean, this act in comparison with the COPRA 1986 is quite a broad, because as it includes e-commerce and the multi-level marketing. It enhances the accountability and the misleading advertisement. This is very, very important. Establishment of the CCPA as the central regulatory body. Alternative dispute resolution is also allowed. That is mechanism for the quick settlement so that the cases are not dragged for the long period of the time. Some of the criticism, can you see, even to the day protracted litigation, the litigation for stretch for long period of a time, burden is on the consumer. That is, it is the duty of the consumer must prove the defects or the deficiency which can be, the resource intensive, because generally what happens under the criminal jurisdiction, it will become the, liability of the state to prove that the particular individual is a criminal or not. So judiciary representation, critics argue that the lack of judiciary members in the dispute forums could affect the fairness, which is very, very important. Again, this is one that has excluded the healthcare. Dropping the healthcare from the bill has been a significant concern. Plus, centralized control over the, appointments may undermine the federalism as well. So let us look at, if you relatively compare the 1986 Act with the 2019. In 1986, was there any separate regulator? No. We have a, separate regulator now, that is the Central Consumer Protection Authority, CCPA. If you look at the pecuniary jurisdiction, that is the amount of compensation, based upon the amount of compensation that you are seeking, where do you, file a case? You can file a case. District, that is up to 20 lakh, they can decide. State, 20 lakh to 1 crore, you can automatically utilize. National, above 20 lakh. So over a period of time, it has to be increased. District, 1 crore, 1 crore to 10 crore, above 10 crore at the national. So territorial jurisdiction, where can a consumer file a case? Earlier, as a part of the 1986, cases could be filed where the defendant residents work for the personal gain. Now cases can be filed where the complainant resides or works for the personal gains. Product liability, no such provision was present. I have explained very clearly. Now the consumer can also claim the compensation for the harm caused by the product or the defect in the services. E-commerce, because at that time, no, so there was no provision. All rules of direct selling extended to e-commerce as well. Mediation cells, there were no legal provision. Now court can refer the settlement through the mediation within the 30 days of retaining the power to condone the delay. Now state within the 45 days of retaining the power to condone the delay. So this is the comparative analysis between the COPRA 1986 versus the COPRA 2019. So let us move to the last theme of this particular discussion, as they have talked about certain certification mark, where we saw about the one mark of the plus F, that is the how the foods are, fortified with the micronutrients, minerals to make the food as the nutritions. So the one such certification mark is the Bureau of Indian Standards hallmark. Bureau of Indian Standard hallmark is a mandatory for a purity of gold and silver. That's the reason you might have seen the consumer awareness ads. You need to buy only those gold kharido to only that gold which has a BS hallmark. So it is mandatory for the sale of the precious metal and the jewelry in India. AGMARK, that is Directorate of Marketing and the Inspection, Government of India. It applies to all the agricultural product, be it cereals, pulses, vegetables. It is okay. Then the Bureau of Indian Standards itself has something called as the ISI mark for the industrial or the manufactured products. It is also mandatory for many specified products and optional for the others. So then the Ministry of Food Processing has something called as the fruit products order. This is for the processed fruit products like jams, juices, pickles, crushers. It is mandatory under the law. Remember very clearly, mandatory under the law. Then we have something called as the motor transport, that is the non-polluting vehicle mark, is also important. This is mandatory for the new vehicles. Then there is the agricultural and processed food products export development authority under the national program for the organic production has something called as the India organic certification mark, because more the consumers have become concerned with their health, whether to ascertain whether the product that I am buying is organic or not, because consumer might get cheated. In such case, if the product is an organic product, it must have a something called as the India organic certification mark. It is a voluntary in nature but widely used and must conform to the national standards for the organic products as well. Ecomark, as the name itself says, Bureau of Indian Standards, that is the product are environmental friendly. That means that is eco-friendly in nature. So that's it in this particular video session. What have we discussed in this video session across these two parts, two themes? First, we have looked at the consumer rights that were given in this particular textbook. Then we started discussed about the COPRA 1986 with the COPRA 2019. Then we have discussed about the different certification marks. So that's it in this particular video session. Do like, do share, do subscribe. If you have any concern, do let us know in the comment section as well. Thank you.